What's up, man? Off-season day 26. Today we're going to kind of jump into a post that I made on the YouTube community about my top favorite books. I wouldn't say top favorite, and the reason I wouldn't say top favorite is because I haven't read every single trapping book out there, but I'm going to go through some of my top favorite books that I have read and that I have kind of dove into, and I'm just going to pretty much go over them, and not go over them, but just list them. And if it's something that you would like to purchase and read, and I think it would be a good quality purchase for you, and I think it would give you a little bit of information that's going to help you be better at trapping, better at managing your line, better at efficiency. So without further ado, first book, and these are in no particular order. So the first book is Coyote Biology and Behavior by Mark Burkhoff. I think that's how you say it. It's a long read, and it is it's not like a very easy read, I should say. If you don't have somewhat of I don't want to say just a decent, if you don't have like a decent vocabulary, you don't know what certain words mean, I would recommend looking them up as you read them. But it is going to give you a lot of good quality information, and some of the big words you don't even really need to worry about. Just get the main point from the book, and then you can grow upon that, and then you can always use it as a reference. And that's kind of what I do. And you can make notes or mental notes of things, and then you can practice them, or you can try and implement them into your trap line and see if they work for you. Just keep notes, keep records, and see what does and what does not work for you. The other book, there's going to be like two fox books, really. So the one is Foxes by the Hundreds, and that's by Gorman. And then the other one would be High Rolling Foxes, a decade later, by Gorman. And those are both really good books. They have a lot of really good information in them, whether it's from management to managing your line, managing your traps, managing your off-season stuff, getting things prepped and ready, and talking about terrain, landscape, set locations. And it's really hard to kind of see a set location, especially when you're watching a video and the guy's like, oh, this is a perfect set. Well, why is it a perfect set location? Like, what? Let's see the big picture. Let's pan out and show me what you're working with. Are you on like a four-way intersection or a five-way intersection, or big windbreak with a stock tank there? Like, what's the reason? A lot of people will say, oh, this is a great set location, but they never really kind of dive into that and explain why. So, but with these books, it does give you a little bit more explanation. And after saying that, definitely I want to show the broader and the wider picture when doing videos, especially for the guys on the masterclass, so they can see why I'm setting this spot. What's the reason? Not just that, oh, hey, this is a grass tuff and this looks like a good spot, or hey, oh, this is a farm lane intersection or a crop change. Like, well, just because it's a crop change doesn't mean shit to me. But everyone's different, everyone's style is different. That's the cool thing about trapping. You can do so many different things and still be successful. Me, I just try and practice on becoming the most efficient that I can be at what I do, and these books definitely will help, and they have helped me from my experience. So we've got Burkhoff, we've got Gorman, we've got Gorman. We're going to throw out another Gorman book. This is like, a lot of people will rant and rave about this being the Bible of coyote trapping, and it's Hoof Beats of a Woofer. It's a fucking great book. It's a phenomenal book. You get a lot of really good information out of it. And if you go ahead and you buy the book now, you get all the updated versions. So you're not just reading old literature. He goes through and he updates stuff. So that's really really cool, and it was really intriguing to me when I got it and read it. And I've probably read that book, I would say, at least baker's dozen. I don't know. I've read it quite a bit, or read sections of it quite a bit, I should say. And then I've let some people borrow it. I don't even have it right now. Actually, one of my buddies borrowed it. So those 4 books are really going to get you, especially if you're talking about canine. Now, if you're wanting to talk about mink trapping and even line management, you could look at like some of Gerald Smith's stuff where he does his mink trapping. You could do Don Powell. He has a really good book, really good video. Then if you're wanting to look into like doing stuff with snaring, if you're wanting to be like a really proficient snare man, and maybe you don't want to be a snare man, but it's a tool that should be in your arsenal, but you're not using it. Now, I understand if legally you can't use snares or cable restraints or whatnot, or if you're only allowed to use snares or cable restraints. Eric Space has a really good DVD. And I know it's not a book, but it is a really good DVD. And Don Powell sent that to me, and I was very, very thankful that he did that. And so if you see this, Don, I wanted to say thank you very much, sir. So now, diving into what the 5th book would be, and the 5th book could be anything, that from my perspective, I wanted to learn more about baits and lures, and that way I could roll that over to the application and why am I using certain things in certain situations. So Nick Wyshynski has a really, really solid book. Gorman has a really solid book. So it's really hard for me to say, the 5th book is, I would get a good reputable bait lure maker book and I would read it. And yeah, maybe you don't want to become a bait and lure maker, but whenever you're buying a product, you probably want to know, hey, does this have tonquin in it, or asafoetida, or does it have anise oil, or mascara musk, some like whatever. But at least you'll know, like, hey, if this does, okay, so this does have that ingredient in it. And from my opinion, I think getting a really good foundation on what fur bearer or nuisance animal you're going to be going after, having a really good solid foundation, and then having some reference points to go back to, whether that's foxes by the hundreds, hoofbeats of a woofer, high rolling foxes, and then hey, why am I using this paste bait that has all these muscellid glands in it, and castor, and certain other musks, and this and that. And then you'll have a slightly better understanding and foundation of why. And I know in Gorman's books he discusses a few things about like application. Why I'm formulating this lure for X reason. It's good to be very well rounded. I always say don't be like a one-trick pony. And the one way to combat that is really just to be knowledgeable in all areas that you can be. So that's what I do. As I continue to read books, and as I continue, and I have so many other books, like, I could say, oh, there were some honorable mentions that came up, and, I could toss them out, but I'll save that for another time. But it's good to just have a good foundation, and like I said, as I keep gaining knowledge and keep reading books, I might add and say, okay, maybe you should want to read this one before you start reading these other ones, especially if you're like a novice beginner, or maybe if you're more intermediate and advanced, hey, jump right into the hoofbeats. But I think anyone, beginner to expert, could read that and get some type of knowledge out of it. I mean, you can read it over and over and you pick up certain things. So they're all great books. There's a lot of great writers out there. Just, if I could say, is go and get books that are going to give you a good foundation, a good knowledge, and make you a better trapper and a better sportsman and outdoorsman. So, and I think that those 5 will definitely succeed in doing that for you. Now, I'm on my way home from work, and I'm going to go home. I got to get a few things done at the house. I really got to start getting my garden some harvested a little bit, so I got to get some of the beans off, and just kind of go from there. I've got a long list of things to do and a short time to do them. My favorite. So, all right, man, I'll see you later.